Hi, this is Nikki, and I'm here to share messages I get from Spirit and from all of us who are all on this journey to reunite with our vibrational matches in this lifetime. And so I'm going to pull a Starman Tarot for the energy for today and what we need to know. And also, I'm just going to I'm going to pick a letter from the Divine Love Letter books, as that's the message that wants to come through. So these are channeled messages that I do between people's twins. And the other thing that I'm going to do is just tell you a bit about my personal journey with my twin and just share a bit about what's happened in case it helps anyone else. So, and this is about really my healing journey. So basically, this is going right back to the beginning. When I first met my twin, I was like, didn't know anything about spirituality, didn't really know anything about any of the healing arts, let's say. And then when I met my twin, I didn't know anything about twin flames. And when I met him, though, I just knew that something was totally different. And I just felt like this amazing feeling. It was incredible. And I was just like really excited. And I remember before actually going to meet him, it was like, weirdly, I can't believe this, but it was like through a dating site. And so I remember beforehand, I said to my flatmate at the time, and I said, I can't really be bothered to go. And then my flatmate said, oh, well, don't go then. And because I'm one of those people that says, I'm one of those people that if somebody tells me to do something, I don't do it, And so I was like, no, I am going to go. And then just before I remember leaving the house to go, I remember having this feeling suddenly I just had this feeling of, I know that this person is going to be the one. And it was a really odd feeling. And then I just had this real sense of calm. I hadn't even gone out to meet him yet. And then on the way there, it was to this pub called The Rose. All of the now looking on reflection, now knowing more about the journey, there were just signposts everywhere. But the thing is, I get out the car and it was a massive firework went off. And it was a red heart firework went off in the sky. And it wasn't around firework time. And I was like, how bizarre is that? Anyway, so the other thing that happened was there was a cyclist who had fallen over. So he was lying in the doorway of the pub. So it was just a really surreal. And I was like, are you okay, mate? And he was like, yeah, no problem. And so then when I walked into the pub, literally it was just my twin sat in the pub. And it was a real Twin Peaks, bizarre. I remember this little kid on a tricycle cycling around the pub at one point. And it was just me and my twin in the pub. Anyway, all very surreal. And then basically there was this moment when I was talking to him, and it was like, I don't know, we just looked in each other's eyes, and I guess it was that soul recognition. Now looking back on it, it was soul recognition, but it was just this super surreal feeling came over me. And I think it was that the first time he said, oh my God, I think I've met the male version of me. And anyway, and then we went into, and the reason why I'm saying this is then basically we went into, after the first few months, well, it was only like a few days, and then like crazy stuff happened. And so anyway, so then we went into separation, but I guess it was on and off, like, let's say about 8 months. But anyway, when I went into separation, I thought I have to do something about this, because I felt literally like I had died inside. And it was horrendous. And I really felt, and at the same time, my dad left my mum. There was loads of things that happened. My whole world just like crashed around me, as very often happens, right? And my heart just felt like it was so heavy. And I was so desperate about not being in, about losing, this person that had just had such an impact on my life. And I didn't understand why, because I wasn't really that sort of person, I was kind of like, with boyfriends, I'd just be like, okay, well, I'll move on and next, and, but he was different. Anyway, so I thought I have to do something. I was going off the rails. I was drinking. I was doing a lot of drugs. I was like, I was just all over the place. And so I just happened to find this woman about Reiki. I'd never even heard about Reiki. So went to Reiki, then, which started my journey, right, of doing Reiki and then doing a shamanic journeying, which I then found, and all of basically the signposts, my Reiki master, I realised had the same name, the same initial and surname as my twin. I go on a shamanic journeying, do a shamanic course. When I meet my spirit guide, it is my twin. I then did, because I was so interested then, because I still didn't know about the twin flame journey. I just needed to know what was this and why was this happening and why was he appearing in my shamanic journeying, and he's my spirit guide and all of these things. I was like, what? This dude, I was like, why are you showing up in my thing? And it then led me to go to the psychic school in London and do a psychic course. And again, he would appear in my readings with people, and he was just everywhere. And then what happened was I became a past life regression therapist, because then I was like, okay, I need to experience if I've had past lives with this guy as well. Like, what is it? And sort of during that process, so I did past life regression therapy and did all of these things, and it was all because I had to answer for myself, like, what was that? And, why is this guy appearing everywhere? In all of my interactions and in my shamanic journeying and in my Reiki master even has his name. I was like, what? This is insane. And of course, then I found out about the twin flame journey, and everything then sort of fell into place. But the reason why I say that is because recently I have gone into separation again with my twin. And so the last time this happened was what kicked off my Reiki and everything else, right? Which is what I was just explaining. But a big part of that was I was also led to go to Gozo. Now, fast forward, this is now 5 years on. I'm now back into separation again with my twin, and I'm going back to Gozo again. Now, because I am much more familiar with, okay, that this pattern has come up again. Why has that come up again? And the reason why I'm sharing this is because it might help somebody else who's in there, who notices patterns and cycles that come up. Because exactly the same thing, 5 years down the line or 6 years down the line, I've experienced exactly the same thing again. And the universe has lined up that I'm going back to Gozo again. And I can see that this is exactly the same as what happened, when I first met my twin and went into separation. So, and then, so basically then because I've just done an Akashic record course, so I can read Akashic records. And this was coming into my awareness. It has been for a few months. And it was kind of like kept saying, I kept seeing Akashic records everywhere, and I kept getting the guidance. You've got to do the Akashic record readings for for yourself and for others. So what I found, and again, why I'm sharing this is because it might trigger something for someone else. So when I did, with all the healing that you do, I've healed many past lives with me and my twin. And we go back to specific past lives. One is in Atlantis, and one is when we were shaman together. Both of them, I chose to stay in my healer vocation, rather than follow him. But I've gone back and I've healed those lifetimes many times, because you kind of reset the outcome of that. But what happened in the Akashics, because I was like, okay, I know I'm being led to this Akashic records for a reason. What is the reason? So I went and I asked, what is the pattern that is coming up, and why is it coming up again, and what do I need to do? So what happened was, when I saw it, I see a door. And in many lifetimes, and it brought up different lifetimes as well, but in many lifetimes, I have let my twin walk away from me. So I see a door opening and closing, and I've chosen my vocation rather than choosing love. So rather than following my twin, so I've chosen a healing vocation. And so what it showed me is that I just let him go through the door. I never opened that door to say, no, I don't want you to go. Or so he basically, it was showing me that lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, I just let the door close, and I never, ever, ever went after him or opened that door. So of course, what it told me to do. So then basically, what you do is you go and reset that, and you of course open the door, and then you go through that door to say, no, come on, I choose you, because obviously that is impacting. That's exactly what I'm seeing now. That sense of rejection, the way that my twin has reacted, is so extreme. Of course, it's bringing up all of those because his reaction is based on lifetimes of where I have chosen a different path. So we have to reset it. And so what's really interesting, and what I realize, as we probably all realize, you have your own healing journey, and we are led to different things at different times because that is part of our healing path and our soul growth. But I think what it's really, the key thing that it's shown me is that there isn't for me personally, so everyone's different, but for me personally, what it's really shown me is that it's not like one healing and, one healing serves all, right? It's like a constant everyday revisiting of your energy and looking at what patterns you create, and making sure that you understand fully about the behaviors and the patterns in your twin dynamic, to then go and be able to look at it objectively. Because my guidance for me and my twin now is that I have to keep trying, even if he doesn't respond, it's fine, but he needs me to keep trying so that he feels that he feels that I'm not going to let him down, basically, and say no. And having done that Akashic record and be able to see it fully, I totally can see why that is. And I have a much better understanding now of that, right? And so I think that's what... And so the message really today is about really understanding about the patterns that you create, and what patterns are coming back, what cycles are coming back round, and it's a really, to know more. So what happened after I've done, so basically I've been working with my Akashic record, and again, it's not like one stop, you do it once and that's it. You do it every day. It's a daily practice, right? So when I do the readings for you with the Akashic readings, it will come through with guidance about what you need to do to update your records and keep on that, every day is a practice. But basically, after I've been working with my Akashic records, I then had a Reiki session with my Reiki master. And I went to a lifetime that I'd never seen before with my twin. And it was totally different this time round. It was one where we were both Eskimos, and it was so lovely. So it felt totally different. We were both Eskimos together. He was catching fish and I was skinning the fish. So the fish are a symbol of faith, right? And we were making our home together, and we were, creating a nest, and, it was just the two of us. And the energy felt totally different because it was a really loving, it was almost, it was like we were two little cute Eskimos together, living together in this little ice home. And it felt very different. So that was only 2 days ago I did that. But that's after about I've been working with my Akashic records about the last 6 weeks, every day. And so that's the message today. It is about recognizing the cycles, right? And then going in at a really deep level to understand your connection and understand why the patterns are coming up, to really help you to work through those energies, because we are a labyrinth of energies, and the more you get into the bottom of that, the more that it allows you to really understand you and your twin's journey. All right, I hope that helps. Take care. Bye.